I would weigh in at this point, and my phone number didn't get posted on the email that went out, and so I did not get the phone calls that my colleagues did. I did get something over 200 emails. Must be different people who contact me because it was about 4-1 in favor of the proclamation. But I've received a lot of correspondence on both sides of this issue. And I, first of all, also want to say that I can't answer each one of those individually. You know, all of us have lives and jobs and so forth. But I respect the fact that people contacted me about this issue, and I appreciate your positions on it. The comments were passionate. The comments were honest. I believe the comments were heartfelt. And I thank you for that. Earlier, the comment was made, that a suggestion that was made that we were wasting the city's time by being here. I don't consider it a waste of time to listen to the citizens of Norman. And this proclamation was brought to us by the Human Rights Commission after many, many discussions and after identification of a problem that a portion of our community is not fully included, and that in fact a portion of our community is subject to prejudice and discrimination. Earlier today, I was at the groundbreaking for Mission Norman, and I commented to that group what I admired about their passion and what they do, which is to work with people who are at risk of homelessness, and particularly with families with children who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And I identified 3 scriptures which summed up for me what impresses me most about Mission Norman. One was from Romans, accept one another just as Christ accepted you. Another was from Matthew 7, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And then, of course, from John 15, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. And what I said to the people at Mission Norman that I appreciated is the fact that they accept without judgment, they love, and then they provide for those in need. That's a vision and faith that I, too, aspire to. And it's part of what motivates me in my decision tonight. This is a proclamation that has been described as doing many things. But let's boil it down to the basics. The Human Rights Commission, as part of its charge, what we charged as a people voting for the creation of this body, they are charged to encourage fair treatment and mutual understanding among all citizens. And because of that charge, they brought forward a proclamation. They brought forward a proclamation that does not spend any money in the city of Norman. They brought forward a proclamation that imposes no new requirements on the citizens of our community. They brought forward a proclamation that does not create any new regulations or any new rights. There have been comments made about special status being granted. That's not the case with this proclamation. This proclamation simply calls for dignity and respect for all people in this community. It asks those who wish to study GLBT history to do so, and those who do not feel that they want to know anything about that can disregard it and move on down the road. That's the nature of a free society. A free society that honors the rights of every individual. Norman is a special place that prides itself in being inclusive and being a welcoming community. And Norman will be Norman after this proclamation is passed, or if it's not passed. It will still be, I think, a welcoming and inclusive community, and one that I hope aspires to some of the values which I hold, which are to accept without judgment, to love, and to provide for those in need. You have heard comments about the very personal nature of the decision-making that which we make. And I'm alluded sort of flippantly to a graduate class that I'm teaching. And representation really is about many things. First and foremost, though, I think it's about listening. At the end of the day, listening, though, does not require that you follow the majority. You have to balance that with protection of the rights of the minority. And so when we listen, we act on the best interests of the community, but we use our judgment. We have to use our judgment. That's a critical part of this job. But this is personal. As one speaker said earlier, if you don't know, you don't understand. He was referring to the AIDS disease. Well, I do know, and I do understand. Because I have a brother who died of AIDS in 1997, and he served in Canada in ministry to others who were suffering from AIDS in a hospice setting. He lived in Canada because he could get health care there, and he lived in Canada because he was accepted there by the community that he was in, the community, the Catholic community that welcomed him and the work that he did. So I do know, and I do understand. And I think what we've heard tonight really underscores the need for this proclamation, because there are many who do not know and do not understand the harassment and the discrimination that goes on against people from this community. Ironically, tonight, the student government at OU is considering a similar proclamation. And the sponsor of that proclamation wrote to us as council members earlier today. It turns out she was also a student who gave time to the city of Norman when we did the Census Complete Count Committee. And so she's given to the Norman community as well as being a student at OU. But she comments in her email to us that it's a cause that is close to her heart, because some of her friends have been harassed and discriminated for being themselves and being something that they cannot change. And discrimination on any level is wrong. So what we're doing tonight is not granting special status. We're not engaging in a debate over social issues that many people wanted to drag into this issue. We are talking about a segment of our community which is discriminated against, and the need to have a dialogue and a recognition of history which hopefully will advance understanding and knowledge in our community. And that's a good thing. I'll be voting for this proclamation.